Okay, so let's do a show. Let's talk about messed up situations. Whew. Hey there, legends. Welcome to the show. Hey there, legends. What do you know? Hey there, guys. Tori here, Geelong-Flipper, aka your boy, aka Uncle Flip Flip. So much going on, so much to tell you. A lot of it good, some of it crazy, and just some messed up situations that I'm going to talk to you about in my Uncle Waff Waff style, Graham. Firstly, thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel on YouTube. We're over 800 subs now, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you for thinking that, that you spend time with me. That's my best way of saying it. It's humbling, to say the very least. I am going to turn off something. I've got the TV going behind the camera, and I must admit that the reflection is driving me freaking nuts. Anyhow, Tori here. How you doing? Now, you guys know I waffle, so I'm going to get this bit out of the way. If you don't watch this show to hear personal news or things that are going on that are not directly to do with eBay and selling, skip ahead until, I don't know, skip ahead until you see my latest book on the shelf behind me. It'll be somewhere about there. Okay, for the rest of you who do want to have a bit of a chat to your uncle, then Imogen, Isaac, they're my real nephew and niece, by the way. I love them dearly. I don't think they watch. They know I'm on TikTok. For them, I'm a big deal on TikTok. Okay. I've had some really exciting news in my personal life, guys, and I am so thrilled to be able to share it with you guys. You've been there and supported me, ups and downs and stuff in my reselling journey. So I had some fantastic news the other day. So here's a quick thing in case you've just joined us for the first time and you're going, what the fuck is this guy doing? All right, so I'm Tori. I live in Geelong in a state called Victoria in the country of Australia, for you international people joining us. I started eBay reselling. I hate that term, but I use it because I think it's one that we all use. I started eBay reselling in earnest. Goodness me. I'd say now, looking at some of my listings, say 10 to 11 months ago, call it a year if you want. I know there was stuff up there a year ago. I have been killing some of those older listings and relisting them, so even that data is not the most, not the most reliable. During those periods of time, the reason why I started selling on eBay is because I finally realized my dream, and that is that I was working at a clothing factory, helping on the floor there, picking orders for a brief period of time. I was a team leader at the company, and then I finished up and I was working as just one of the guys working on the line, processing online orders. Had a good time, but wanted to work within the charity space, and an opportunity came up. So I left the clothing company, should never have done that, and went to work for one of the bigger Australian charity organisations. 3 months later, I am out of work. But the long and short of it is, it shocked me from day one. Corruption immediately there. There was just a lot of theft. I dubbed on everyone, and the guy in charge of for all of Victoria did nothing except for then focus on the fact that I was a troublemaker and that I resold stuff for eBay, and I couldn't do it anymore because things got physical and things got very threatening because I tried to undo a massive multi-$1,000 scam that was going on. One day I will tell the story. I hesitate because call it fear or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm scared to name names of this. I run around as it is. I know already I've got a bit of a name in the local shops because if the charities are doing bad things, I call them on it. You can see more of that on my TikTok. It's a bit of TikTok outrage, or in my YouTube shorts. They're generally there, but on TikTok is where most people see it. Anyhow, so the reselling started in earnest at the start of this year, like really earnest, because I didn't have a job. And I was like, I'm screwed. I've got a mortgage. It's not a big one. Very affected by the corruption in the charity space. And they don't seem to want to fix it. They really don't. You put in complaints. HR does nothing. Like by the end, I was having my safety threatened. And the HR for this company never contacted me. Not once. Maybe they weren't told. I don't know. Either way around, I started selling on eBay seriously. And that's when the journey began properly. And that's why you guys are here today, I'm guessing, because I go okay at it. To give you an idea, there is no way in hell I make a full-time income doing it. I am too lazy at the moment. If I buckle down, we're going to talk about that in another video. And that will be quantity and quality. And if I was to look at that sort of thing, my friend Rylan, he is for me a shining example of a listing legend, and we've had plenty of good chats about that. There's plenty of other great resellers out there, but he chats to me the most on Instagram, and I really appreciate that. Before that, I started selling casually on eBay, and it was to self-fund my journey. So if you were to ask what I do for a living, whilst I do have my day job, it goes for about 4 hours a day, and then I go and do eBay. If you really were to ask me at my essence what I am, I would have to say that the eBay, where I do have my love and my passion, I'd say I'm an eBayer, but I'd also say that I'm an author. And some of you may or may not know that. The main reason why I started doing eBay was to self-fund publishing my own books. I have written a manuscript, a 350-page book called Tin Man. That was accepted by a small publisher here in Victoria. However, the book wasn't going to hit bookshelves for a very, very long time. I'm 51, and I thought, surely there's a way I can do this myself. And it costs money. The books are good enough that I believe that they're not just vanity projects. They're decent stories. You can look my name up on Amazon. I don't have many reviews, nor do I have many book sales, because I don't have the money to market those. And it's not Cry Me a River. It's something I'm super proud of. So Tin Man will be coming out soon. If it had come out traditionally, it wouldn't be till the end of this year, next year, some stage. Way too far off. In the meantime, since then, I've written about, I would say, 12 books, 4 of which are on the Amazon bookstore now that you can buy if you want to. I'm going to talk to you about that too. All right, so first things first. This was my first book that came out, and it's a series that it's only 134 pages, and I'm super proud of it though. I was so excited when I got my first book back to go, I wrote that, this is my thoughts. It's a silly story, it's fun. So the premise is that a pulse goes through all worlds, all dimensions, supernatural stuff starts happening, zombies happen, there's grey aliens on Earth, there's conspiracy theories, there's flat Earth, there's the CIA owning the North Pole in this case, the aliens have got a base under the water, the aliens made the pyramids, whatever you can think of. There's fights coming up in the dead of space where Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin have a massive fight at the start of the book. They're for ages 15 plus. So The Dead of Christmas came out, and just recently the second book in the series, The Dead of Egypt, came out. This is my new one. So this is 194 pages, so 60 pages more. I still can't believe it, guys. I've got 2 books out in a series. It's 60 pages longer. It features one of the characters from the first book, though you don't have to read them. You can read them separately. It probably makes more sense to read that first, simply because you'll see the main character in this one introduced, though he's not a main character in the first book. I'm reaching down. Anyhow, so here's the exciting news. You hear me talking about my lady or my partner, Ali, in the videos. You don't see her because she doesn't want to be on YouTube, and that's fair enough. She helps me with any information I give you regarding jewelry that you may hear. In fact, pretty soon we bought bulk jewelry and we sort through it. You'll hear some of her hints and tips. She's extremely knowledgeable, and she's still learning too, though. We are still learning, but her knowledge about jewelry, particularly costume jewelry and finer grade precious metal, it's so good. But like she says, it's like she's still learning too, so we'll share that information. In any case, when we first met, she was the first person who said to me, "You are creative, why are you working full time?" I was working over 50 hours a week at the job I was at. And when we got serious, she took over some of the financial burden. It allowed me to work 4 days a week instead of 5 days a week, which meant I had 3 days, and she let me write. Or what I mean by that is chase the dream to be an author. So Tin Man was complete, and then I wanted to challenge myself with this idea I had for this universe, which now is the An Other Earth story. There's currently 6 books fully plotted in that series. But Ali, with this one, normally I'll have a little team that helps me edit voluntarily from the goodness of their heart. Most of the guys were able to jump on board, but 2 of the main people who would normally help edit, they weren't able to because they had other commitments, and Ali edited this book. She went over everyone else's proofreading, because the guys do. If you do buy the book, you'll see who's credited for helping. And she went over everything else and just tidied it all up, because when you're writing, you don't always see the errors. It's good to have someone who's analytical. In any case, after she finished editing, I locked her out of the Google document, and she got a bit of a shock, because you've got page 1, the copyright information, and then on page 3, I proposed to her. And she said, "Yes, guys." So I'm now engaged to the love of my life, and I am so excited, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So that's it. That's my exciting news. I know it took me ages to get there. If you skipped all that, that's fine. I am going to pop the book up on the shelf behind me. But just before I do, put up with me for 2 more seconds, just in case. These books, I could not make my living selling these at the moment, but I'm going to tell you about them just in case you go, "You know what, Uncle Flipper, you wrote a book, I want to see what it's like." They're on Amazon in every store. So, or just go to Amazon whatever for your country, type in my name. All right, so this one is pretty straightforward. Santa zombies, anyone? At the festive North Pole, Nick and Carol, toy makers and secret government agents, guard a deadly secret: hidden nukes beneath the toy shop. When an unknown enemy airdrops zombies, holiday joy becomes a battleground. With allies like real elves, a mysterious, sometimes drunk alien, flying reindeer, and a peculiar weapon, Nick and Carol face an epic battle in the dead of Christmas. Can they save Christmas from a sinister plot and the undead tide, or will the zombie apocalypse engulf them all? Tradition meets terror in this thrilling Yuletide tale. Tongue twister. That's that one. If you're into zombies, there are some gory zombie attacks. There's a lot of language, there's a lot of violence, but there's also a lot of love in the stories. I really worked hard on the characters. However, this is where the second book gets gnarly. I had to do so much research. So, as I said, you don't have to read the first one, but if you do, it does tie in a lot. After the zombie attack on the North Pole, nothing could possibly get worse, right? That's what Mike the alien thought as he teleported into the past by accident. 3,000 years back and onto An Other Earth. Ancient Egypt, land of the pharaohs, the pyramids, the stuff of myths and legends. When Mike the Alien unexpectedly teleports to ancient Egypt, he discovers a world overrun by zombies under the control of sinister grey aliens bent on control of the entire planet. Teaming up with 3 young heroes, including the future pharaoh Tutankhamun, Mike the Alien sets out on a mission to thwart the alien invaders and save Egypt from annihilation and potentially an undead sandbox. Can they unravel the mysteries of the past and find a way to send Mike the Alien back to his own world before it's too late? Join them in this pulse-pounding adventure filled with action, suspense, and ancient secrets waiting to be unearthed. This book is a veritable shit ton of fun. I've had to read it 5 times proofing it. When the typesetter sent it back, I love it. The feedback's been good. In Australia, it's about $15. That one's $13. If you don't want to spend a lot of money and you've got electronic, it's $2 on Kindle. I think that's the cheapest I could put it at. And I think that's $5 on Kindle. Okay. So guys, I'm engaged. I'm excited for that. We'll get married later in the year. And got a new book out. And Tin Man will be coming soon. Super excited. That's 350 pages. And it's crazy. Okay. So, pop that there. And that should let you guys know, if you're wondering at what point I've stopped talking about personal stuff. There it is. All right. So, let's cover the topic. And it's how postage can actually fuck up sales for you. And I know it's going to sound like a weird topic, and it's more of a conversational one, but lately I have been getting a lot, and I don't know if you guys are experiencing this too, I've been getting a truckload of returns from sales, particularly that I sent overseas. And it's been nuts. And I've got permission off one of my customers to talk about this, just not to mention them by actual name. So thanks, Bob. I'm kidding. That's a name I just made up. Okay, so recently, this is the nutso thing. So I think it is difficult because we're, as eBay sellers, we're sending stuff overseas. I encourage international sales. I have got more business because of it. But recently, I've been getting a lot of stuff back. And by that, 4 items. But that's 4 items in 2 weeks from other countries because they haven't read the shipping instructions. Now, I know those of you who send a lot more overseas are going to be going, Tori, you're a dickhead. That's hardly anything. But for me, it's a lot. Now, I started to add blab on earlier, guys, before I went into my little personal journey of books and romance. But just so you know, a fair whack of my income outside of the work that I do comes from eBay. So my 90-day running total at the moment is dropped a little bit down. I've been working on my book, so it has affected my eBay sales. But on average, over a 90-day period, I think I was sitting on $6,400. So as I said, it's not a, oh, look at him, he's getting rich on eBay. No, but I'm fucking paying the bills, that's for sure. And the stuff that I'm telling you guys works. So I just thought, someone said a while ago, oh, you don't make much, or you don't do, why should we listen? You don't have to. But I would also challenge anyone who does watch to say that the advice I'm giving doesn't make sense. I would really challenge that because it's all based on stuff that's happening to me. Okay, so who knows? I've got a plan to really push myself harder on that. So maybe in a few months' time, I will give you another running 90-day total. But yeah, about $6,400. I maintained that for a while. Then as the Dead of Egypt started getting ready to be published, I fell off with my listings because I was proofreading and I was doing my other job. Okay, but to get all these books, and they were mainly books, back, I'm actually waiting for another return as we speak. It is, okay, so here's the backstory of that one. I sold a game I sold a game for Xbox. It was a Call of Duty game, and it had special coins inside of it. And I think it was one of the Black Ops games. It was in a special box with coins. It had the game inside it. I sent it overseas. Customer paid quickly, has been communicative, let it go for a long time, and now it's coming back. It said if you guys aren't familiar with sending overseas, like basically, unless Aussie Post, when we're filling stuff out, unless you do it manually, which I don't really advise, if I can't fill out an address manually using the customs declaration on Australia Post website, I go into my post office and I get the post office to fill out the address, double checking what they've done. I read out the eBay address, I show them my screen on my phone that they're copying the eBay address, and it gets sent off because they can override it, and them doing it makes more sense than me doing it. So the customer lived, I think, in San Francisco. It was a complete address. I've traveled through the States multiple times. Thank God I've had a good time over there. I could tell it was a real address. It was absolutely valid. And it said on the tracking information, invalid address. I can even look up this address on Google. Like I can look at the street view of the address. It makes sense. The customer didn't screw up. And I've done shows in the past about don't accept customers changing the address via messenger. This customer never tried to change the address, confirmed it was the address, and then all of a sudden it's coming back here. It's sat though. This is one of the things I will say. It did say invalid address, and it said that it was at the local postal facility in San Francisco in their suburb. And I told them, because they said, hey, sorry, flip. They didn't. They just said, oh, hi, I'm really sorry to let you know, but the goods aren't here. And I looked up the tracking, which they could have done. I don't know. I find a lot of people in other countries don't look up tracking information. And I'm not sure why, because the stuff that they get through eBay feeds them directly through to the tracker. It drives me nuts. But I went through, I sent another copy of the tracking information, a link of how to access it. And I'm like, bro, I'm sorry that you haven't received your game. It's at your local post office. Like it's at your postal facility. I'm sure if you go down there with some ID and go, hey, there's been it's been overlooked, and they'll probably give it to you, because I know they hold it for a while. As long as you can prove who you are, they're going to give it to you. Your name's on the bloody envelope. And I'm not sure why, because this person has been a fantastic customer. It was absolutely lovely. They never went for like a month. Let's say 3 weeks, but 3 weeks to a month, they didn't go and collect it. So it's on its way back here. I don't know why someone would wait a month when their shop, me, has told them that their goods are there. I don't get that. And I'm really sorry, but I contacted eBay because the guy's put in that he wants his money back because he didn't receive his item. His item was there. And I get that it wasn't delivered to his apartment, but it was there. And then he did go, only to be told that the item was now heading back to Australia. That's not my fault. How is that my fault? And so I contact eBay and I say, hey, this customer's awesome. How do we, and I don't mean that sarcastically, they've been so polite. But I don't get the whole not going to pick up your item. It was a limited edition game. I would have been running to the post office. So basically, I said contacted eBay and I said, hey eBay, Tori here, Geelong-Flipper. They went, holy shit, top tier seller. Most of you guys are too, I know that. And I said, yeah, my customer says that he didn't receive the item. It's been sitting at the post office. You can see in the tracking, it sat there for nearly a month. Probably was a month. And the guy goes, instead of looking at the tracking, eBay's come back to me and gone, oh, we can see there's some movement of the parcel. We'll give it another 10 days. What, to come back to me? I don't get it. At this rate, I am now waiting on this poor fellow's game to come back to me because the American Postal Service, USPS, I think they call themselves, United States Postal Service, USPS, couldn't read a fucking customs slip that had the customer's name and absolute correct address on it, but it's coming back here. That's nuts to me. Now, in the meantime, their stupidity has cost me time and aggravation, and possibly inadvertently pissing off this customer who's been nothing but polite, albeit I still don't get the pickup. If you are watching, I don't get that, dude. You've been so cool. I don't know why you didn't pick up your parcel a month ago when I told you it was there. You would have had it. So now I've got to wait when it comes back. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. They want their money back. Chances are I am going to refund, just so this will come out before I even get this stupid thing back, because I don't want to deal. They paid for their postage and it was about the same amount as what I got charged to send it over there. I think I'll just get it back and I'll say to the customer, here's the deal. Here's your refund. You can rebuy it if you want to. Or I might just let it go and refund them. I want my customers to be happy. And guys, I think that's what you should aim for as well. It's not always their fault though. Sometimes it's a bit their fault. Sometimes your fault too. Sometimes it's my fault, but not in any of it. I'm so paranoid when it comes to international shipping. I sent something over to Qatar a while ago, an Xbox game, and no jokes, the address given, now I don't know if the customer's English might have been very, very limited. It was an Xbox game, but literally, I won't give the full address, but there was it was in Doha, Qatar, and I think there was one other line. There was no street. I don't know how the postal service works over there, and eBay can only give me the address that was given. Once again, it was back at my PO box. So in that particular circumstance, the only reason that customer tried to give me negative feedback and they tried to get their money back, the only thing that saved me in that time, all the headaches, were quite simply that they tried to put it in. I contacted eBay, who looked at the file and said, this file's too late for the customer to try to get their money back, and they wiped it and prevented them from leaving negative feedback for me. I still felt bad, but I'd done the right thing. The game was extremely cheap. I think I lost a bit on that one, on the postage. Not a lot, but it was like a $10 game. But yeah, but the customer, then I reached out and said, look, I think it's coming back. And if you want to grab it again, or if you want to get something, I'll look after you, because it's easy. Not many of my customers live in Qatar. The customer hasn't got back to me. But then there was another case. Thank you so very much. Now, this was the Spanish Postal Service. I sent a book over, a first edition book of a Wilbur Smith novel. Really cool book. They didn't pay a lot for it, but the address was a little bit unlike the addresses we expect in Western countries. And so I filled it out, and the post office double checked it. They put it into their system, and it spat out as a correct address. And it was like, they got the book for $17. It's worth way more. And to my surprise, when I was getting the mail, when I got all this stuff back the other day, the Wilbur Smith book sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, what's the matter? Stamped across the customs declaration from the Spanish Postal Authority, it says, return to sender, no customs declaration. You stamped the fucking customs declaration to say there wasn't the thing that you stamped it with. It drives me nuts. But what do you do? So I went back in. It was a lot of mucking around, and you just think, oh well, this was from ages ago, like ages ago, and the customer never reached out, never said didn't get it. I would have been telling someone if I hadn't received an item, even if it was a cheap item. They paid their money. They deserve to have their item. It doesn't matter how much it costs. I'm not bloody Temu or Alibaba or whatever you call it. You're going to get your shit if you buy it from me. I'm going to do my best to put it in your hands. So that was a thing. And so I went back in. I said to our Australia post, guys, this is nuts. I've had this sent back. And they had a close look at the stamp and stuff that Spain put on. They went, they've stamped the customs declaration to say there is no customs declaration. I went, I know. So I don't know what happened there, but I just wanted to touch base on you. It's been happening to me a bit lately. For the volume that I send over to get 3 or 4 items back in one hit, kind of insane. So have you guys been experiencing that lately? It drives me nuts because I'm so careful and a bit paranoid when it comes to the international stuff. That, yeah, I just wonder if it's been happening to you guys. And I wanted to touch base with you all, make sure that everyone's okay, everyone's doing well. And yeah, we'll be coming back with more. We've got a lot more thrifting videos to show you. We, being Ali, my fiance, and I. Yeah, it's been a busy time, a frustrating time on the postal front, and an exciting time on the author front. But I just want to talk about Post coming back, and hope you don't mind the talking head show. That I didn't really teach you anything this particular show. I just bitched about postage. It does happen, and I know it happens, but I want to provide a forum where we can talk about this stuff. There are some quick tips I can give you at the end of this, or not at the end of it, I'll do it right now. So one of the things that I believe was it may have impacted the way Spain did their thing. When I sent over the book, Aussie Post, Australia Post did that customs declaration for me. And for some reason, they, even though I told them that the book was like $17, they put down zero value. So when Spain gets the package and it has zero value, but it's listed as merchandise, I think that's why it came back. So what Aussie Post did though, which was good of them, they scanned it all through again, and the lady at the office sent it back over at no charge to myself, which, you know, so they shouldn't. I didn't screw up, but we made sure there was a dollar value on the goods, and they're on their way back over to Spain now. I've let the customer know. I think probably they just gave up, but I said, hey, you haven't contacted me, but just to let you know, your uncle Flip has done the right thing. I don't know why your book came back to Australia. I've sent it back out again, and hopefully you'll have it relatively shortly. And I've got a tracking number, gave them the tracking number. So it's something that, as far as eBay's concerned, the transaction was fully done and dusted. But as far as me, as the business owner, was concerned, I'll always do the right thing. And I sent it back out. And Aussie Post helped me with it because I could see I didn't screw it up. So yeah, that was, make sure that if you are sending stuff overseas and you are selling, don't put it as a gift. It's not a gift. Someone bought it, put it down as merchandise. Make sure the damn thing has a dollar value, and put down the correct dollar value. It won't impact you. Just some of them have to pay taxes in their own particular countries. If you put down that something is a silver necklace because you don't want to lie to customs, and I really suggest you don't lie to customs, then don't put down that it costs $5. They check that stuff. In this time of heightened security, they check all that stuff. So make sure your customs declarations are honest. Yeah, sure, the customer have to pay tax when it comes into their country. That's their problem. It's not your problem, unless you know your country, they charge the seller. I don't know how. You can see the taxes that have been paid by the customer. And that's not my problem. My problem is to make sure it's wrapped properly, that it's sent, that I give a tracking number, and that the customer gets their goods. It's your problem to do the same thing. What a waffle, Uncle Waff Waff. I hope that you guys are having fun. I'll wrap this one up. Thank you so very much for being a part of the Geelong-Flipper family. And as family members, I wanted to share that exciting news about the engagement. If you're wondering what the fuck I'm talking about, go back to the part where you skipped me talking about personal news. There's some exciting stuff there, guys. We'll have more videos coming out soon. Are there topics that you want me to cover? Please let me know. If you've jumped over from TikTok to YouTube to watch this, write the comments in the YouTube section. It's easier for me to keep track of requests in the YouTube comments than it is on TikTok, where I might have several thousand people comment when I've upset people. It's harder for me to keep track of all that. So YouTube's the easiest way for us to communicate. TikTok's a fun way for us to communicate. But and I'm also on Instagram, and I have a couple of you reach out to me there. And I've got my highly unsuccessful Facebook page too. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it's just Geelong-Flipper. Nice and easy, guys. Thank you so very much. Love you. Thank you for your support, and we will be back really soon. Cheers. Bye.